What the fuck is up on a Friday night?
Hell
It is
to the
time
yeah.
to kick that fucking weekend off right with a whole lot of shit list for that we have for you tonight. And unfortunately, it's being a bitch right now, and I can't even see it. All right. Hold on. All
Kyler
right.
says, "Hey, beautiful people. Hope you're doing well. Today's been fucking exhausting." Yes, it has. I
I agree with that 1000%.
Mm-hmm.
Especially going out after 9 inches of snow.
Yeah.
That was goddamn ridiculous.
It's
And
snowing here now. It
hopefully,
was 50 degrees yesterday. Now it's fucking snowing here.
you see, Mother Nature is so, I don't know if it's unhormonally balanced or what,
Yeah, I think she's
but
PMSing like hardcore.
something because damn. One side
Relax,
of the
Mother
country
Nature.
gets
Eat some
fucked
ice
up and then
cream.
the
You're
other
okay,
side.
bitch.
For sure. It's like, I mean, look at Las Vegas. Look at all the snow they got.
I
That shit
know.
was ridiculous. But like I said, we have a killer list for you tonight. For some reason, this literally killer. For some fucking reason, tasteofcinema.com seem to have their top 10 list of the most overrated horror movies of all time. We'll see if y'all agree. And it's kind of fun for us to tear apart a list that usually we would probably agree with. It all just depends on the writing and what they have to say.
yeah. It's so bad.
That's really all I can say. But before we get into this shit fiesta, let's take a quick commercial break to our wonderful friends over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Hello! For those of you, I don't know why I just had a Robin Williams moment, but I did. I don't know that the end of that commercial is so fucking abrupt. I'm just like, hello,
Hello.
Kyler. I understand. He says, "Oh boy, they're gonna make me angry. Time to grab the booze."
I mean, even if they don't make you angry, you're gonna need the booze anyway.
Nano. All right. So, this, I don't know if you're getting this, but there's like a shit ton of pop-ups on this stupid list.
Oh, it's horrible.
I'm going to try my other phone because it keeps trying to take me away from the list.
Oh,
That's how fucking horrible it is, people. Even my own. Oh, shit. He is a monster. He really is. He must be stopped. Hopefully you took it out of the DMs. All righty. Now, I just kind of peeked through a little bit and was automatically pissed off at some of their choices here.
Oh,
But we're going to start with number 10, seeing as they're counting down to number 1 most overrated of all time. And usually we're like doing one that's the underrated. So we're on the other side of it this time.
Right.
So they chose a movie called It Comes at Night.
I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
I'm not exactly. Oh, it's doing it on this phone too. How do I get rid of it?
Oh, no! Like,
Son of
how
a
can something be
bitch.
overrated if you have a couple horror geeks right here who've never heard of it? So how's it
Exactly.
overrated if no one fucking
No.
ever talked about it? It's not overrated.
And obviously, it didn't go to the theater. So, first of all, what kind of a jackass starts off with a question? What comes at night? It's
I
like,
don't know.
what? Having seen the film, I have no idea. So basically, what he's saying there is he has no clue what the fucking movie's about because he
Yeah,
had his head tonguing his balls and up his ass the whole time.
clearly.
So, oh, it did it again. Son of a bitch. Keeps taking me away from the page. This sucks.
Uh-oh. That ain't
Yeah.
good.
Nope. We'll try again. The basic plot of the film is sometimes after a never explained apocalyptic event, a family of three lives in isolation to protect themselves from a never explained disease. How many times do we see these apocalyptic films where they don't really tell you what happened? You
Yeah,
kind of learn from paying the fuck attention.
exactly.
Now, just from the photo alone of this thing, it looks pretty interesting to me.
It does.
It just says here, after a certain point, the only incentive to keep watching is to see if the film will ever explain what's going on. And it never does. All right.
Okay.
You sure about that, though? Because sometimes filmmakers want us to hypothesize our own ideas. What the
Exactly.
fuck's wrong with that?
Kyler says it was okay, but not what you expected from the movie.
Now, am I correct in saying it never made it to the theater?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember this one coming to the theater.
Let me
So
look
right
it up.
there, I could see if it went to the movie theater was a box office flop. They've had tons of reviews of people saying how much they couldn't stand it. So how is it overrated? Who's talking about it? We look at
Oh,
lists, well, not lists, but horror.
It did have a theatrical release in 2017.
It did.
It did.
But yet,
Um,
none of the big like Fangoria or any of them that I could see because I look at what
nah.
comes out. They never talked about it. So who the fuck is like saying it's the best thing in the world, or
It
are you
says
just
right
pissed
here
off
on
at your friend?
It says right here on Wikipedia it was positively received by critics but less well by the general public.
All right, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Guess what? If you don't like it, you don't like it. So
Yeah.
what makes this film overrated? I've still yet to really get the gist here. This guy basically has a bug, across his ass about this film. So obviously he didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I just don't see what the deal is. So kind of goes on. The most bizarre aspect of the film was it made and sold by art house filmmakers, but indulges in certain Hollywood trope more than most Hollywood films do. This guy is seriously just bitching.
But then again, with some of the other things on this list, he clearly wouldn't know a decent film if it came up and bit him on the taint.
Oh, I agree
I'm
1,000%.
fucking pissed
Yes.
off by number 9.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Oh yeah.
And then it says the movie is beyond cliche and only diffuses tensions in later scenes of the film. Why should an audience get invested in a moment if they have reason to believe that it will have no effect on the story? The film's ending strives to be boldly nihilistic, but merely leaves the audience questioning why they watched the film in the first place. Why does anyone watch a film? Because
Yeah.
obviously they want to see if it's any good or not. Do you know how many fucking stinkers I've watched because I didn't know ahead of time?
Exactly.
If everybody knew ahead of time if a movie was fucking trash, they wouldn't watch it. That's the
Exactly.
glory of, making your own fucking decisions.
Yeah.
This son of a bitch, man. I would just love to get these fucking bear mitts around the neck of this person. They're telling us that at number 9, Hellraiser is overrated.
The audacity!
How dare you say Hellraiser is overrated?
How dare you? One of the greatest franchises from the 80s, a darker franchise from anything differing from the slasher craze that was going on that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, to me, Exorcist, and then there was Hellraiser.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're talking about a film that was so over the top, obscene in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They gave you
now,
not just gore, but
if you want to have a list of like movies that had too many sequels, I could maybe see putting it on that list.
For sure. Or
But
reboots
overrated?
For that matter.
Absolutely not.
Barker, oh, this son of a bitch. I just saw that he put H.P. Lovecraft and Clive Barker next to each other, and I'm so mad. Popular horror author Clive Barker, no shit, critically acclaimed, I might add, one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
Written and directed Hellraiser, an adaptation of his novelette, and now I got to get it back because it kicked me out again.
Oh, may I read this one?
Yes, please, because I'm going to get mad anyway.
Adaptation of his novelette Hellbound Heart, and he has a novelist's eye for cinema, which is to say none at all. Hellraiser is a surprisingly dull concoction given the outrageously strange nature of Barker's Lovecraft-style fiction. The film is 2 tension-free hours of people walking through a house, occasionally having kinky sex, or bumping into an extra in grotesque demon makeup. Wow.
I mean, this guy is begging for us to drop as many elbow drops of doom and letting Wolfhulk just maul him like a bear. Are you fucking kidding me? That's all he got out of this film?
Oh, there's
Really?
more. Unfortunately.
Serious?
Oh, wait, there's more. There's more.
Oh, I know there's more.
To make things better, no one in the film is remotely likable. They're either scumbags or cardboard cutout damsels in distress. Doug Bradley's makeup as the head demon Pinhead is the only great thing about the film, which is why Pinhead is an iconic character whose visage people are familiar with, even if they can't name him, a la Michael Myers or Chucky the Doll. If only someone had constructed a better film around it.
Clearly, this guy's brains are smaller than any animal on the face of the planet. You are human excrement, sir. To say that there is no plot, no story, no nothing, just some kinky shit every now and again, and then none of the characters are likable. Their daughter, the heroine of the story, the fucking final girl, she's earned her place 20 times over. Shit.
You know what? I'm letting him out of the cage.
Please.
I got her.
Until your fucking head smashes through your asshole. That's what I want to see.
Yep.
Fucking Hellraiser is legendary. Now, maybe to some people who weren't, from that time, maybe it's too gritty. It's not 4K, whatever your problem with it is.
You
cannot deny how great that film is.
Even if you don't like the story, you can't deny those special effects are insanely good. So the entire thing. Come on, you have to find something good in that fucking movie. It's great.
When have you ever seen anything like the Cenobites in any horror that was happening in those 30 years? Because let's face it, horror didn't really find its place until the 50s.
I agree wholeheartedly, John.
Oh, man. Till he can't fucking breathe and he fucking dies from it.
Yep.
Oh, man. How can you shit on... At least he had one decent thing to say about Doug Bradley, other than the fact that he's fucking menacing as shit.
Yeah.
And gave people nightmares for years and years and years to come.
Yeah.
When people look back and want to watch something seriously scary, Fucking Hellraiser.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Oh, come on. Really?
That's the one I was really going to let you have because I'm sitting here going, you just attacked I want to say what, early 2000s all the
Yeah.
way up till recent times. Because, yes, there's another one coming out and it's going to be twice as fucking diabolical.
I can't fucking wait.
This franchise has made horror fans literally out of people that otherwise wouldn't watch them.
That is true, and I'm fucking pissed. How dare you?
Are you going to attack Saw?
Seriously. Now, I can get a lot of people think there's too many of them. They stopped being good after part 3. Fine, your opinions are wrong, but you're entitled to them. But how dare you say this first movie is overrated?
I mean, I can only imagine what's going to come out in this review of why this asshole seems to think that this movie is so overrated that no one should watch it. Because isn't that what he basically said about Hellraiser?
Yes. I mean, the first Saw movie
watch it.
Wasn't a ton of gore. There's a lot more plot. And a crazy-ass twist that I guarantee nobody saw fucking coming. I don't think anyone had any clue that was John Kramer, quote-unquote, dead on the floor. No one had a clue.
The whole fucking time. You had no idea.
That's got to be one of the best horror plot twists in history.
Absolutely. And let's not to mention the you felt every second of that doctor sawing his foot off.
Oh, they hardly even showed it, but you see it.
You've seen it, you felt it, you could feel the desperation. I know my asshole was puckered.
Well, let's see what this chuckle fuck says.
Oh man, it's gonna be so bad.
It is. All right,
I can see what he watches every Saturday night. Fucking Barney.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has a fucking Barney blow-up doll in his bedroom.
All right, gory with being subversive or clever. Saw was never a critical darling, nor was it trying to be. Did I read that right? What the fuck does that even mean?
In other words, he says they weren't. It's never been considered a critical acclaimed film series, and he says they probably weren't trying to be.
Gotcha. However, in the years since it was released, Saw has gained a reputation as something of a genre classic. Why? The same reason that 0 degree weather seems to warm in Antarctica. Saw looks good compared to its legion of sequels and imitators, but that doesn't mean it's worthwhile. Ow!
So you're saying that just because they inspired other filmmakers to kind of not exactly rip it off, but come up with very unique ways that we have never seen, you dick.
Yeah.
It was a pioneer in horror, the inescapable, yet you think you have a fucking chance to get out, but you know in the end you're fucked. So
massive plot contrivances combined with subpar acting for a less than stellar experience. How could actor as bad as Lee Winnell have gotten a major role in this film? Surely it has nothing to do with the fact that he wrote the script. The most horrific aspect isn't the potent violence, it's the film's sickly gray and green color palette that succeeds at being an eyesore without actually being scary. Wow. And there's more. The film's greatest legacy wasn't the brief popularization of torture as a horror motif. If it was, its ugly, flat aesthetic that every by-the-numbers horror film copied over the next decade. So why did such an unappealing film connect with so many? Horror often contains reactionary sentiments, so the film probably succeeded simply by depicting torture as entertainment, which worked as a profit in a post-whatever that says world. And that, my friends, is more disturbing than 1,000 clown-faced puppets. Really, motherfucker? How much torture was actually in that first film? Not a lot.
Not a lot. You're talking about one setup, one scene, the whole film.
Yeah.
It wasn't until a bunch of sequels later did they add more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What
To
the
it,
fuck?
but it almost became like what the fans wanted.
Exactly.
If there was ever a franchise that listened to their audiences when they speak,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't have been as successful for as long as they have been. Torture really wasn't the biggest part of that movie either. This is a franchise that was the very first successful
Exactly.
at blending basically cop drama, whodunit, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
solve the crime, and horror into one. That is amazeballs to me.
Agreed.
Another Wolfhulk, he's got to come out.
He really does. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sick to my stomach over it.
Agreed.
Man.
This
Moving
next one.
on.
This next one.
Let me see if I can see it long enough. Yes, I can. Okay.
Not as good as the original, but it had some really good moments.
I mean, it took it to another level of spooky that the original didn't
Oh, hang on. Kyler.
give us in bulk.
Kyler, I agree. The Saw video games are very difficult to do. I've been stuck on both of them for years. So, not the best games. There was a lot of potential, but they weren't great. But, yeah.
I mean, it really just depends on what they're about to say about it. Because in some ways, it's kind of like, well, they didn't capture a lot of that first film the way it was. Just, character development.
Yeah.
I don't know. That first cast was so fucking good at delivering Stephen King's story. We saw fresh faces this time around, people we never knew before, but we actually followed them as they grew older, because in the original, they would do all the going back,
right,
showing things that happened in the past. This time, the series of films takes you all the way from the childhood, all the way into adulthood. That's not what the first one did. No. Now, obviously, they were limited on practical effects of what they could do to deliver, honestly, the ferociousness, of the character, the It Clown. But no Tim Curry, though.
No. It's good, but is it really overrated? I know. I have a problem with the big head, and I hate the end. The end of part 2 with the fucking baby. I don't like that.
It went a little south.
It really did.
Well, you know what? Anytime somebody remakes something, they're going to stick something in there that just doesn't make sense. Yeah. We're talking about the movie It, Kyler.
Yeah, was it 2017 version?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, there are moments in there that are pure fucking terror.
Oh, absolutely.
That you didn't get with the first one, because there wasn't a lot of showing. I don't know why I keep forgetting the clown's name.
Pennywise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You don't really see Pennywise interacting with the children the way he did in this one. All the way from the beginning with Georgie. Poor Georgie.
I know. Hiya, Georgie.
but there was just something about the way Tim Curry would have delivered it, did
Yeah.
deliver it. His
Yeah.
voice, everything was so, I don't know, it just like sucked you right in. But that's
Yeah.
not to take away from this film. Now, did they way over merch this one?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they why didn't they do that for the first one?
Good question.
Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, they were all like merch everywhere during
Yeah.
the 80s, which is when this one came out. And it's like, well, how's come they didn't do it then? But now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
so does that make it a little bit overrated? Maybe. But, you know, just like Kyler there, I've talked to many people that are huge fucking fans of the original It
Right.
that love them both.
Exactly.
Because one of them has aspects the other one didn't have. There was a lot more action. I mean, you pretty much know that the damn thing is some kind of like alien terrestrial
Yeah.
something or other. I mean, he was a spider in the original, which I'm glad they gave credence
Yes.
to,
Absolutely.
you know, because then it wouldn't have made any sense to show something completely fucking different.
Right.
It was those subtleties, those little moments where he was a little bit of a nightmare. The kids get trapped behind doors and all this other stuff. I mean, that shit was priceless.
Absolutely.
So, well, let's Dwayne to see what they have to say.
Oh boy. Are you able to read it? You made it.
It keeps kicking me over to a cell phone page. I don't get it.
All right. The bar for Stephen King adaptations is lower than the deepest pit of hell. Also, pretty sure they spelled Stephen wrong. I'm pretty sure he's a PH. But anyway.
He is a PH.
Good job. For every classic film like Carrie, there are five or six embarrassments like Quicksilver, Highway, Bag of Bones, or Tommyknockers. King adaptations are usually so impressive that a competent film looks like a diamond in the rough, despite being more of a cubic zirconia. Wow. The film bets so much on the hope that every member of the audience will think that clowns are terrifying that the filmmakers never bothered to find creative ways to actually make Pennywise scary. The one filmmaking trick they have up their sleeves is accompany his movements with loud noises, but the film's one-trick pony gets old fast. We find that Pennywise is an ancient force of evil, eats children, and manifests in a clown form. The film never explains why he disappears when he has the chance to catch his prey. Maybe he's as uninterested in the film as we are. Wow.
What the fuck is he talking about?
I don't know. And because it's set in the 80s, the film has to revel in shameless nostalgia, referencing everything from Tim Burton's Batman to New Kids on the Block to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, as it's worried that it can't be entertaining on its own merits. It's sad to see a film at such low self-confidence in itself.
Would it have made any sense to set it in the 90s? No.
No.
The book itself, obviously, he's not a Stephen King fan.
Clearly.
And secondly, he never read the book.
Nope.
Probably never saw the first one either.
Probably not, because I don't even think he mentioned it.
He's probably too busy watching the fucking Golden Girls. This guy is obviously not a horror buff, and that's okay. You don't get a fucking dumbass writer to write about shit that he don't even like anyway.
So how about you shut the fuck up if you don't know what you're talking about and go back to watching the Kardashians, okay?
Exactly.
Okay.
Or, you know, Monster MILF or whatever that fucking show is called.
Yeah. This next one.
Watch some Jerry Springer. That's probably what you like. I don't think he watched it, Kyler. I don't
think he watched it either.
Because he didn't reference anything about did it follow Stephen King's story? You know, was everything characterized right? Even if you don't like the extras that they threw in the film.
Right.
You still can't deny that it follows Stephen King's novel.
Yes.
Was there stuff still omitted? Yes.
Yes.
But God damn it, how much of a book that big can you flesh out in a film that's going to make people sit and watch the whole goddamn
Exactly.
thing?
I mean, the book's like that fucking thick. It's huge.
You know? And they did 2 films.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's not even enough to cover it all.
No. I guess they're making a new series called Welcome to Derry. I can't wait for that.
Yes. And that'll give everybody all the fucking backstory they could possibly want. And delivered. And obviously, this asshole ain't gonna watch it.
No.
Fucking Dingleberry.
This next one I've never heard of.
Well, I'm gonna take a look. All right, so this one's called Southbound. Oh man, how are you gonna attack an anthology film?
Oh come on, they're usually decent.
Exactly. Unless each of the stories don't coincide together at some point, that's when they're bad. And the only ones that really get away with that is like Tales from the Crypt, stuff like that. But that's just because all the individual stories are so fucking cool.
Exactly.
It says Southbound is a almost anthology film. They usually feature a group of segments that do not connect to each other besides sharing the same genre. What?
He just said anthology films usually feature a group of segments that do not connect to each other besides the genre. How many fucking anthologies have you watched? They always tie together.
Always. I haven't seen one where all the characters somehow are related, but you don't find out to like the very end of the film and it ties it all together.
Exactly. So what the fuck is this dick fuck talking about?
I mean, I'm sure if it was a Western, he'd love it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Southbound is composed of 5 segments that almost connect. You were just... Oh, man. Okay. He said the twist ending the film's raison d'etre is that the film exists in a casual loop wherein the end of the film is also the beginning of the film. This Mobius strip idea... just lost it. Hold on. This list is so bad. It keeps kicking me out.
Yep.
And my devil cat won't leave me alone.
I say them.
The story and fails to make sense as characters die and are later seen unscathed with no explanation. Have you ever heard of science fiction or a psychological drama or thriller?
I mean,
apparently,
you just
this
said
guy's
right
never
here,
heard of...
the end of the film is also the beginning of the film. So why doesn't it make sense if you see characters die and later you see them fine? So clearly there's some wibbly wobbly timey-wimey shit going on. Pay attention.
Yeah,
dumbass.
this kind of shit shows up all the time, especially if they're parallel times or vortexes or whatever the fuck you want. I mean, come on. The Twilight Zone?
Tyler. Legit.
And force feed him everything. Seriously, This
Exactly.
is so fucking stupid to me. That's what makes some of these anthologies so enjoyable to watch, is the fact that it fucks with your head.
Exactly.
Apparently, this guy just likes to, enjoy getting fucked in the ear, apparently. Because he sure as hell ain't paying attention. Tell me I'm wrong. There's no
you're
point.
definitely right.
Oh, you fucking cock knocker. Number 5.
Number 5. Are you kidding? It was bad enough that you fucking dissed on Hellraiser. But now you're gonna diss on, like, The King? Freddy? Really?
At this point, I would like to eat his liver with a side of fava beans.
And a nice Chianti.
Motherfucker. Seriously? He's about to trash Nightmare on Elm Street.
How
One
dare
of the
you?
most likable, enjoyable. I mean, sure, for a lot of people, it struck home a little better with, let's say, part 2. You have to remember, folks, it was a fucking stretch.
Yes.
Limited time, limited money. He could not be more seen in that film for various reasons, not to mention there's like a lot of psychological shit
Oh, absolutely.
built into that film to fuck with the person watching it.
Oh, big time.
That's what scared you.
Exactly. You're afraid to go the fuck to bed.
We've all been in high school and suddenly fallen asleep, and then these kids are having these hellacious nightmares in class.
Oh, yeah. Who hasn't fucking done that?
Never have we seen somebody just suddenly wake up and scream bloody murder after seeing their dead friend's corpse get dragged down a hallway by a mysterious entity of some sort. This was a far stretch in the horror genre anyway, because he's a sleep demon.
Yeah.
Not a slasher. But yet, we always put everything in a box, right?
Of course.
Let's see what this dickhead has to say.
Oh, boy. Okay, at least he slightly acknowledges his fault here. He says, here's the closest that this article will get to blasphemy.
What you talking about, Willis?
By the time Wes Craven's most famous film was released, the slasher genre had been already done to death.
Pretty much.
Craven managed to add one element to the Madman Kill genre teen template, the supernatural. And that's not enough to make a film good. As electrifying as Robert Englund is as Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street lacks the masterful atmosphere and mise-en-scene of earlier slasher films like Halloween, Black Christmas, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Craven's trademark confusing moralizing doesn't help. We learn Krueger was a child murderer who was released on technicality and enraged a mob of parents sets him ablaze to keep their children safe, unknowingly turning Krueger into a ghost who targets their children. Craven frames the parents as monster because Lord forbid someone try to protect their children. Oh, for fuck's sake, he completely missed the point.
He really did. That is...
Freddy's not a ghost, you turd.
There at no point in that film do you feel sorry that those parents tried to destroy him. He was a child murderer, okay? No one felt sorry for that. He's not an anti-hero. He was never meant to be. Yes, did people start rooting for Freddy because he became a really likable bad guy? Just like Jason, just like Michael. And it's like, this guy completely missed it. The point was, they never told their children. They could have prepared their children for what was to come.
Craven reuses the same broken moral compass that he brought into his previous features, Last House on the Left and Hills Have Eyes. These two films have the same basic plot structure. Villains attack innocents, family of innocents attack back, and Craven paints the family just as evil or worse than the enemies.
I don't see that.
No, me neither.
You cannot compare The Hills Have Eyes with Nightmare on Elm Street. Sorry.
Absolutely not.
Can't.
In A Nightmare on Elm Street, that plotline recurs, but as the film's backstory. It's nice to know that Craven believes in recycling, but it would have been even better if he understood that the proper response to the abuse of others isn't complacency. Even Craven's moralizing isn't as bad as the film's chintzy musical score.
It fit!
It fit! So
it completely fucking fit.
I love the theme song for that movie.
It was kind of like an industrial soundtrack. It was supposed to make you feel like you were in his little boiler room, like, dungeon thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That just doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. I'll let you take the next one, brother.
Oh, you know. So you want to pick on Heredity?
Sorry, Kyler.
Did they really?
Wow.
Fuck off. I'm so sorry that happened. First of all, Heredity is not a horror movie.
I don't have much to say. I haven't watched it yet.
Hereditary. What? It's probably Hereditary. I'm probably saying it wrong.
That's
You know what I'm saying? This makes no sense. The point of this movie is more like an Exorcist kind of feel, but on a blending of fucking genres all into one. You get possession in this film.
Mhm.
You get satanic cult in this film. You get somebody dealing with the fact that they accidentally decapitated their sister in the back of their vehicle and was so high that, and fucked up over it that they couldn't even bring themselves to tell the parents.
Yeah.
This movie was so gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching, fucking weird, twisted. I mean, and it all comes to fruition at the end of the film, where it's one of those movies where you think good is going to triumph, and doesn't. They don't stop it from happening, and that's one of the things that I love about this film. Hereditary is certainly not the worst film on the list, but it is by far the most frustrating. Why? About 90% of the film is top-notch.
What?
Is this a love-hate? Is this one of those love-hate shits?
It really is.
Damn it. It's tense, disturbing, and features an Oscar-worthy performance from Toni Collette. Abso-fucking-lutely! She played Mad Woman better than any actress that I can really, I don't know. She went from one extreme to the next in a drop of a hat, from scene to scene. It was that crazy. Most of the film is a classier breed of horror film in the vein of The Innocents or The Others. Neither one of those are horror. Sorry to burst your fucking bubble, you fucking dumbass. So he's revealed himself. He doesn't know shit about horror, period.
No, he doesn't.
Then, with the minutes remaining, the director, Ari Aster, takes a left turn so sharp that the film gets into a head-on collision. That's not late in the film. That's in the middle, fucko.
Oh, my God.
It gets worse, people. Extremely late in the game, the film turns into a schlocky 1970s B movie with needless gore. Oh, you just don't know shit.
No.
It's a fucking movie about one of the 9 princes of hell, Paimon. And Paimon is kind of like, in demonic lore, one of the nicer ones. Hence the reason they chose this to be the subject of it. But the fact of the matter is, people, when you're bringing about one of the 9 princes of hell into a human body, what the fuck do you think's going to happen around it?
Exactly.
You're going to have decapitated naked folk bowing at his feet. Yeah, sure. Was it shocking? Absolutely. And it literally tied every question you had from the beginning of the film to the end, all summed up in the last 10 minutes of the fucking movie. I mean, it's beautifully done. And out of nowhere plot developments. Hello, you dumbass. They're all racing towards a goal with this film.
Exactly.
The special effects also go from being good to being so laughably bad that one wonders if they were intentionally silly.
What?
Tell me what part of the film was fucking funny.
He's about to.
I mean, it says the image of a severed head displayed on a mannequin as a dozen nude senior citizens look on reverently is so goofy. That's when they finally tell you, and the teenage son of this family, that because his sister was too weak, they had to switch and bring Paimon into his body because he is strong. and they're all there to pay homage, and it's disturbing as fuck. So disturbing that I was like, you could throw all the gore at me that you want, but that shit was disturbing and made me love it that much more. And that's why people love this fucking film so much. It takes a different form of creepy than your usual, I just chopped off all your limbs in your head.
I'm so confused by the end of what they said here.
Oh, we're going to get to that. He said it belongs in a horror comedy. This guy really is a piece of shit. Even the film's music feels parodic. It's not a parody, you cheese dick. Stop it. Was the serious tone of the first 90% of the film some sort of a joke, a lead up to a shaggy dog punchline? The real joke is on. Though Hereditary was inexplicably beloved by critics, it was hated and dismissed by audiences across the country.
If it was
they can't handle it.
If it was hated and dismissed, then how's it overrated?
Exactly.
That makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
This guy has fucking been a hypocrite from the jump on any of these goddamn films.
Legit.
You know what?
Oh,
they were supposed to hate it. All the
really?
Christian, huh?
Oh, I saw the fucking next one. I'm pissed again.
Oh, all of the the typical white bread American, Christian whatever values, good. Yeah, that shit was going to put them probably back in grade school. That's how disturbing it is. Good for you. Because guess what? The Exorcist did the same damn thing, and 50, 60 years later, it's still at the top of the list.
Absolutely.
So, go to sleep, pillow biter. Fuck off. Go masturbate with a hot dog.
This next one, I
seriously,
see way more people hate this movie than love it. If anything, it's underrated. It is not fucking overrated. You kidding me?
It is very underrated. I have
very much.
This is on the wrong list.
This is so on the wrong list. Really, someone doesn't want to live deliciously.
I mean, you're hurting the feelings of the black goat.
Black Phillip is very displeased with you.
That's right, and you're about to get fucking buckshotted in the balls for what you're about to say.
So we're talking about The Witch. Oh boy, here we go. Our leads are a family of Puritans banished to the wilderness for having theological disagreements with the rest of the community. Once there, they become prey for the devil himself. The film spends a lot of time looking down on the family for their fundamentalist beliefs, but why should it? In the world of this film, Lucifer is real and witches actually have magical powers. Despite the film's distaste for the Christian faith, it is still rife with Christian iconography, some of it fairly obscure. When the devil is revealed in the form of a goat, it recalls both the biblical parable of the sheep and the goats and Francisco Goya's painting, The Witch's Sabbath. That doesn't stop the talking devil goat from seeming ridiculous.
Which I must say
are ridiculous.
Well, I was gonna say, Goya's painting is fantastical.
It is, for sure.
And there's a reason that he made that painting, because those twisted, sick Puritans, it didn't matter who it was. Oh, you're different? You're a witch. Oh, you gave me a tea that made my stomach feel better. Guess what? You're a witch.
Yeah. And also, I love that painting. It's beautiful.
Oh, man. I tell you, if I could get one, like a big one framed all day.
Absolutely.
Obviously, this guy missed the mark. It's kind of like taking and the subject has been touched upon so much in films.
Right.
The fact of the great witch hunt in New England, and this
is it.
finally
Different.
that's where I was about to go with it. So you're in the thick of it, and everyone is fearful that everyone and anyone is a witch, and the devil is alive in Massachusetts. All that bullshit.
Right.
But they decide to take another direction with it and basically let you know that it's real.
I'll agree the movie's a little bit slow.
Well,
But it's creepy as hell. The special effects are insane. I love it. And that ending, never do you get the ending that my black little heart wants, and we did.
Exactly. So, I'm sorry that this just trifled with your feelings. But for the rest of the world, loved this film.
Yeah.
So much that it's a GIF and a sticker on just about every social media.
Oh, yeah.
So to say that it's overrated, it's a period piece.
Yes.
Nobody ever says how slow some of those medieval pieces are about the kings and queens and the knights and all that shit. You know what? They fleshed out the characters.
Exactly.
They were literally sucking you into that period and what it looked like, felt like, and they nailed it.
Exactly.
So to say that it's overrated, nah.
No.
Because most people, like you basically said, probably couldn't sit through the whole thing just because maybe it was too slow for them.
Right.
I never read anywhere where people said that, audiences were so enthralled with it and, all that shit. So take your opinion and go to hell.
All right. Good night, Kyler.
Night, Kyler.
Sweet dreams.
Got him. That's twice in one broadcast. Holy fuck. Now, you're really going to attack the one M. Night Shyamalan film that was the best of anything he's ever made, in my opinion. And you're going to say it's overrated? I'm sorry. Even the most darkest soul, such as mine, and horror lover to boot, because guess what? This movie is not a horror film.
Agreed.
It is a ghost story.
Yeah.
That was so more real than anything than any of us have seen before. It's for sure. And first of all, Bruce Willis, one of the most celebrated actors of all time, delivered a role and a twist that none of us ever saw coming.
No.
And that child actor, holy shit.
Yes.
So, of course, we're talking about The Sixth Sense. Thriller? Abso-fucking-lutely. Suspenseful. All the way. Bone-chilling fear? Yes. Gore? Yes. Not at all. So this really doesn't fall under horror. It's more of a thriller suspense kind of thing. And I'm telling you, if you didn't feel something at the end of that film, you're not human.
Yeah.
I cried. And it takes a lot for me to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas the hate for Hereditary stems most from its ending, the love for The Sixth Sense stems mostly from its ending. What?
What?
You're going to sit there and tell me that people hated the fact that he didn't know he was dead?
What the fuck is wrong with that?
You tell me one person that says, I hated the ending of that film. If they said they hated it, it's because it was a tearjerker.
It is a tearjerker, or they're too stupid to get it.
Oh, yeah, because, after seeing it for the first time and then going back, it's like, I saw all the Easter eggs. They were there.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen something like that, but it was done really fucking well.
Oh, this gets even worse. The film's supposedly brilliant twist ending, spoiler if you somehow haven't heard about it already, is that a major character was dead the whole time. And you got a problem with this?
Apparently.
Would he have said that about fucking Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost?
I don't know.
He was dead the whole time and nobody gave a shit?
Exactly.
What the fuck? Oh my God. The problem is, by the time M. Night Shyamalan's most popular film was released, the twist had already been done a few years prior in Jacob's Ladder. So now I'm aware that this guy is a cinema snob.
Yeah.
Probably only watches whatever gets an Academy Award. That means it's probably so fucking horrible that he loves it. And it's not ever horror.
I'd love to see what this guy's favorite horror movies are. Maybe I need to try to find that, because I don't even think he likes the genre.
I don't think so either. He'd rather watch fucking, Mickey Mouse than something that actually scares him. Not to say anything against Mickey, because I love Mickey. But, obviously horror is not this guy's genre. A few decades prior, in Carnival of Souls.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Let's move on. He said, and 2 millennia prior? Oh, you asshole. He actually equates this to the Bible. So that officially tells me what kind of dickhead we are dealing with. He says a few millennia before that in the Gospel of Luke. You dumb son of a bitch. You're damn right. Should not be writing about horror because you obviously hate it.
Yeah.
Good sir, you are one of the reasons we hate everyone that is normal.
Legit.
Come on now. Even for the most moral person in the world would still got down to this film. I don't care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where M. Night Shyamalan got his idea from. All of us that watched it for the first time didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was great. Not this jump scare bullshit that happens in a lot of these rinky-dinky horror films nowadays.
Yeah.
There was nothing creative about the move on Shyamalan's part. Yet for some inexplicable reason, the Sixth Sense ending is remembered as shocking and original. Motherfucker, nobody else did it during that time.
Exactly.
And you're basically trying to say the guy plagiarized other people's endings?
Big fucking deal.
Don't you think that people that weren't probably even still living, if an idea like that was presented in a film in the 50s, they weren't going to care?
No.
Otherwise, he would have been brought up on charges and they would have fucking got rid of the goddamn film, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. The other main problem with the script is that it makes no sense. What in the utter fuck don't you get? The guy was a social worker.
Yeah.
Who was murdered by one of his former cases, and he had a chance to save one child. He did that from the dead. That's how much he loved his job. Come on. Bruce Willis's character is killed and unknowingly becomes a ghost, unable to communicate with anyone who's not a psychic. The kid's not a psychic. That's another fucking thing. These stupid, mystical, like, boogie people.
Yeah.
Unless you tell a child over and over and over and over and over and over again, the ghosts are not real. Once they start to believe they're not real is when they really lose their connection to multiple energies.
For sure.
That's another thing this film kind of showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Kid wasn't psychic.
No.
He inhabits his old apartment and misinterprets his wife's ignorance of his presence as her giving him the cold shoulder. Hello. That's called bringing you through the story. Yeah. Of course he doesn't get it. He thinks that she just no longer talks to him because she's pissed off at him.
Yeah.
Because he's so into his job and this, that, and that's what he's thinking because he doesn't fucking know any better. He's
exactly.
dead. He doesn't know it. But God damn it, does he punch it home at the end in the most emotional way. I still don't know any other films that ended quite like that really grabbed you.
I know.
You know what I mean? You got a twist and heart-wrenched all at the same time. It was like the dark poison cloud. Just poop, start shitting on your head.
Yep.
He doesn't realize that he's a ghost for over a year after his death. How stupid is he? How stupid are you, Dick?
Legit.
What? He thinks his character was stupid because he couldn't figure out he was fucking dead? You know, that brings about a very good question.
Which is?
I'd like to hear it in the comments if y'all want to put it down there. What ghost or entity knows it's dead?
Yeah.
How do you know?
How many repeat ghosts are out there? The ones, that show up at, on the certain staircase at, 2 p.m. every fucking day because they don't know they're dead.
And they think they're like basically reliving the same moment over and over and over again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Ignorance like this is just so stupid.
Clearly, this motherfucker doesn't know anything about how real ghosts work, because if he did, he might, not
He's one of the naysayers that thinks that's just for the evil people, like you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went a whole year without being able to talk to anyone and didn't notice something was awry. Who knows how or why in the fucking fuck that suddenly he gets this case for this kid. We don't know what force helped him get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And suddenly he just thinks he's starting a new case.
Yeah.
That's not so unbelievable to me. And then it says that's even more unbelievable than the fact that this film was nominated for the best screenplay Oscar. Oh, this fucking guy. I'm done with him.
Yeah.
Moving the hell on. Moving on to the biggest stinker of them all, where he actually gets it right.
I know.
The Conjuring people. Oh, I know.
I don't know if I'd put it as my number one most overrated, but it's on there.
It's not, it's not quite up there. Was it a great film? Yes, it fucking was. It was great. The first one, the second one, that third one, you lost me.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid it's going to end up like Insidious, where they just have sequel after sequel after sequel, and it's going to get stupider and dumber, and people are going to lose interest. So the only thing that they did right, well, actually, both of these films took a very long time to now have another sequel coming out. But, there's moments in it that are priceless when it comes to paralyzing fear.
Fair.
We never saw anything like it. We probably didn't know the husband and wife team that they were actually real. We never knew that. Unless we were, adults in the 70s and they went on TV shows that you would see and they would talk about the stuff they do.
Okay, we have concrete proof right here that he didn't even fucking watch it.
Of course he didn't. Shame on this bastard. Charlatan.
You want to read it? You want me to read it?
Oh, you can do it because I'll just puke.
All right. Nothing is conjured in the plot of The Conjuring. The film's title apparently sounded good to the folks at Blumhouse, so it didn't matter if it was blatantly false advertising. If anything is conjured, it's memories of superior films like Amityville Horror, Poltergeist, and Child's Play, which James Wan draws from shamelessly. What the fuck does this have to do with Child's Play?
Number one, did he not watch the end credits showing the picture of the husband and wife team back when they started doing their thing, the video that they showed, and that everything that they showed in the film was legit?
It's a tale as old as time. Family is haunted, the specters get more and more malevolent, and finally there's a showdown between good and evil. There's also a ridiculous reveal which postulates that women killed during the Salem witch trials actually were child murdering agents of Satan. Apparently, someone needed to put in a good word for Cotton Mather. I'm not surprised that this film exists or that it was successful. What is surprising is that critics reacted to the film as if it were some new horror classic. Since the advent of Rotten Tomatoes, there have been conspiracy theories claiming that critics on the website are secretly paid to give films good reviews.
That's bullshit.
If prominent critics want these theories to die out, they had best not give glowing reviews to tripe like this.
You want to know something? The subject matter had been done before, but was it ever based on a true story?
Right.
I mean, yes, the Amityville Horror was in fact a true story. And yes, that husband and wife team were originally or they either did or I don't know, went to the house and tried to, do the blessing and all that shit. So why would they fucking do the same thing? The house itself was not the negative force here. It was that witch who plagued that whole piece of property. So this guy, I just don't know what to say about it. This is just horrible. I mean, it is overrated in the fact that there are movies that are better.
Yes.
But for the time when horror seemed kind of not really happening as much, you had this rash of, true stories and, a lot of like cop drama stuff. Finally, a well-written film dealing with this particular topic, which was so fucking interesting to hear about all the different things that they collected that were haunted objects and, all this other stuff. Like, that was just really fucking interesting. It kind of brought a new flavor. And, they did market it right, and rightfully so, based on fact for the most part. We weren't there, so we don't know, except for some of the, their videotape interviews. That film still exists. Those tapes still exist. So that just punched it home further for me. And then, like I said, the second film was very good. And it brought out, the whole idea of the nun and all that in an awesome fucking way. But, just like any other franchise during that time, another sequel is just not going to hit as good as the last. No. So overrated a little bit, but I think it's overrated because it was the only movie of its kind at that time.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Insidious was real popular also at the same time. Same fucking actor in it.
Yes.
Let's face it. Anything that dude is in, people love it. He's a great actor.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I don't know. This list was just so fucking horrible. How could you say movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser were so overrated?
How can you say that? I follow a lot of horror groups on Facebook, and 9 times out of 10, if someone posts one of those, what's your least favorite horror movie, I see The Witch listed a lot. So there is no fucking way it is overrated.
So just because, critics dug it, that to hit him meant that it was over fucking rated?
Apparently.
No, it's because you hate horror
Yeah.
and you're an insufferable prick.
How about we talk about films like Blair Witch Project or
The biggest fucking Duke of all time next to Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, or Paranormal Activity or fucking like The Babadook. I still hate that film.
The ace number one stinker of all time.
You want to talk about overrated? Let's talk about some of those, okay?
And you know what? In some ways, I would even venture to say The Exorcist is a bit overrated. Now, let's see what this new one brings to the table.
Yeah.
In modern times.
I'm quite curious to find out.
Oh, I'm very curious myself. And if Hellraiser was, oh my God, people wouldn't still love it all this time later. Just like Saw. Saw has a 20-year history.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that every single sequel was beloved by the fans. Like I said, Twisted Pictures listened to what they had to say. No horror filmmaker goes into making horror films hoping to impress the cinema gurus. They don't do that.
No.
What are they really paying homage to? The horror directors that did such awesome fucking filmmaking years before that. And yeah, sure, they're influenced just like a musician.
Right.
We have a question. Austin asks us, how do y'all feel about La Llorona, though?
Didn't see it.
I felt like they were trying.
Uh-oh. Reaper, come back. You can blame it all on me.
I'm back.
There you go.
I'm back.
You're back.
You can't keep the devil away. I felt like they were trying too hard to fit that mold of, let's say, the success of Go to Hell. With having a different kind of demonic entity that has never been touched on in film. It wasn't bad, though, but it was a little predictable. That's the only thing I can say about that film, Austin. It was cool. It was cool, but it was too predictable. That's all. For me. So anyone that's a fan, and I say this about all these films, anyone that's a fan of them, I mean, you're allowed to like it.
I think the actual Annabelle movies are probably more overrated than Conjuring ones.
How in the hell was Annabelle not on this list?
I don't know. I remember the second one, maybe. I got to watch it in theaters with like a whole group with my group of college kids. And they were all like gasping and, scared. And I'm sitting there eating my popcorn like, so she's not even going to move like Chucky? What the fuck is this shit?
Like, her eye didn't move. Wait a minute. She's not there anymore. Suddenly she's closer. You want to talk about some of the worst effects ever in a film?
Yeah, seriously.
That film made its success based on the possibilities.
Exactly. Remember
the possibility that she might do something.
At the very end of the movie, they're rolling the credits and then they just pan out to like her profile shot. And I'm just like, even if it doesn't fit with the plot, you couldn't get one jump scare and make her turn her head at the very end or something. Come on.
I would have much rather of Annabelle come to the front of the screen and go, fuck you. At least then I would have said, cool, you did something I wasn't expecting.
Exactly.
Everything else was parlor tricks and jump scares. Come on.
Exactly.
At least Chucky was like, I'm killing your ass right now. Yeah. And he had a bedside manner. So, that kind of makes for a lasting, better film. I'm trying to think if there was like any other horror films that just seemed like got too much love and it wasn't that great. I don't know. Throughout the 2000, well, some people, I know this is probably like calling the pot kettle black here, but there's some people that would say that the Final Destination movies were over fucking rated.
Meh.
No?
We're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, I never really had any problems with them, but I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, this is fucking stupid. It's trash." Whatever. It's not going to happen. There's no such thing as fate. All the naysayers. There were tons of them at the time those films came out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people might say the Final Descent movies got too much love, or may I say the the German films. It's kind of like a bordello, but it's a German word. Hostel.
Oh yeah,
got it. Some people said those were overrated. Shit, that wasn't overrated. That shit actually happens.
Yeah. I could
All they did was stick it in a film.
You could maybe make an argument that like hang on, what was it? Yeah, you could maybe make an argument that I got a good one. This list was written a couple years ago, but the last Halloween movie, I think, was definitely overrated.
So overrated to the point where an entire multi-generational fans of that franchise are sickened by the last film. I swear, if they try to do anything else with the Halloween franchise after this, I'm done. I won't even fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Blumhouse killed it for 2 movies straight, and I fucking love Blumhouse. I love them. Almost all their films are fantastic.
Maybe. Part of me wonders, honestly, if they did that on purpose so that way people would stop coming back for more.
But do you really feel that Jamie Lee Curtis got her final curtain call?
No.
See, I don't feel like they did her any justice in that film. They gave her one fight scene at the very end. I mean, you might as well have cut out the other 1 hour and 30 minutes, cut to the last 10 minutes and said, we're done.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me. And just about everybody I talked to about it. So exactly. I'm one of the biggest Halloween fans ever. Thank you all so much for trudging up. Wait a minute. Austin says the whole Halloween franchise, I feel like, is just overplayed. It seems like Scream with some franchises, you just need to know when to call it quits. And both Halloween and Scream both definitely need to at least consider calling it quits. Okay, I agree with you, but have you seen the stills that have been coming out for the next Scream? Because nobody thought the last one was going to do what it did. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what original character was in it. They could have done that movie without him, and it still would have kicked ass. And as a matter of fact, the next sequel coming up ain't going to have much of them. And as a matter of fact, I think they kill off the last remaining ones.
Woo!
That means that people were more invested in the new fresh blood in that film. And let me tell you something. The kills with this one is about to be over the fucking top because the knife is not the only weapon at this one's disposal. And he or she is brutal. That is the only reason why I want to check it out, because what I saw in a trailer, holy fuck, it's going to be different. And that's what I like. If you're going to continue a franchise, give me something new that I can chew on.
Exactly.
Halloween Ends didn't give us shit to chew on, and Blumhouse, shame on you.
Agreed.
Like I said, thank you for dealing with this awful overrated list. Genghis, you outdone yourself. It was so bad.
So bad.
So fucking bad that I want to cry. So get
Same.
your emotional support ice cream, emotional support whiskey. Have a great fucking Friday night. Get ready for tracks from the Dam tomorrow night,
Oh,
as
yeah.
we are going to give you our top 5 Rammstein albums of all time.
Yes.
If you're a Rammstein lover, don't miss this one. We want to hear what you think
Absolutely.
is the top 5, and you can tell us to fuck off and say we're all wrong. We love that shit. It's fine. Tell us how you really feel, but always stay heavy.
See a corpse is rotting in this wasteland. Left with some bleached bones. Kiss the death in the palm of my